But before we get to it, rest in peace to Sly Stone. Man, if you're a regular on this channel, you know I talk about Sly and the Family Stone a lot. A lot. Because of what they meant to music and what Sly Stone meant. And when you tell the story of hip hop, what they done when they tell the story of hip hop is they omit the pioneers that gave hip hop the game. They just act like those people that don't exist. They don't, like the same way they don't tell you who taught, they don't tell you about Beethoven's teacher. They don't tell you why Johann Sebastian Bach wears that Afro wig and who he learned the game from. They don't tell you because the backer you go, the blacker you go. And all of those, the groundwork for hip hop is laid by people like Sly Stone. Sly Stone was a DJ out of Dallas. I'm not Dallas, out of Oakland. He was born in Denton, Texas, but he got his bones in Oakland, in San Francisco, up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and he was a DJ. And he was back in the days of the personality DJ when they had to rap on the radio to keep your attention. That was Sly Stone. And from the radio, let me see if I can find some Sly Stone DJing. Let me see if I can find some audio of him DJing. Let me see if I can find some audio of him DJing. From the DJing, that's when he formed his band in late 1966. Sly and the Family Stone. Here's some audio of him DJing right here. People don't know he was a DJ first. So hip hop, you didn't start no shit, nothing with no starting things around the DJ. A lot of R&B, funk, a lot of that was centered around the DJ too. Jazz too, swing. A lot of DJs that played a heavy, prominent role in that. This motherfucker don't want to play. Yeah, I'm about to replace you niggas with Spectrum. Here we go.
This portion of the Soul Sounds of KSOL Radio is being brought to you by the House of Music Record Shop at 8417 East 14th Street in Oakland, where they are having the 59-cent sales. All the records you are now hearing are on sale for just 59 cents. Just listen to the top two
records. Listen closely. Just Be Sincere, Jackie Wilson. Girls Ride to Get You, The Fascinations. The Girl Don't Care, Gene Chandler, Jimmy Mack, Martin the Vandellas. Dry Your Eyes, Brendan the Tabulations, Do the Thing, Lou Courtney. Greatest Love, ZZ Hill. 59-cent sale records, and I'm not jiving about that.
Don't forget to stop by today.
Y'all see how they had that little rap? That was common amongst DJs at that time, in the 60s and the 50s. DJs all across America, from Frankie Crocker to Sly Stone, had a rap. And that's where a lot of your rapping over DJing is born out of that culture. And Sly Stone played a major part of that on the West Coast. You know, out of Sly Stone and Sly and the Family Stone, what they did was, the thing that made Sly and the Family Stone so great, that was the first band to have men and women, a lead trumpet, his sister Cynthia Stone. That was the first to have a lead women are leading in a horn section. You also had white musicians. I mean, them motherfuckers was cold. Joe Picard was not Jeff Picard. I'm drawing his name. Why am I forgetting the drummer's name? The white boy. That motherfucker was cold too. I'm forgetting his name right now. I'll get it. But that white boy on drums is cold than a motherfucker. And then that's where you also had Larry Graham, Drake's uncle, got his start with Sly and the Family Stone. And out of Sly and the Family Stone, you get thump bass. Songs like Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again. When you hear this right here, when you listening to whether rock and roll, when you hear this right here, that was the first time a bass string was plucked. Before that, the bass players played on top of the strings. Larry Graham came with hitting that thumb, thumping it, and plucking it. That thumb pluck method. Don't. That thumb pluck method. And I will leave it to a bass player to explain that better. I'm not a bass player. I'm a drummer. I just know what I hear. That thumb bass, that gave a new texture to the bass that basically went into the sound of the Moog. A lot of your Moog sounds, when you listen to like songs like Thriller, da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, da-dum-dum-dum, that's sort of mimicking a thump bass. Larry Graham, out of Sly and the Family Stone. So you get that element, that aspect that Sly Stone brought to the music. And also, you get somebody who played all the instruments. People talk about Stevie Wonder, people talk about Prince, and this generation thinks Prince is, and I love Prince, no disrespect to Prince, but for some reason, my generation and younger, I think Prince is the only person to play every instrument in the studio. Prince is one of the greatest to ever play every instrument in the studio. But the fact is, a lot of our musicians also play every instrument in the studio, like Patrice Rushen and Sly Stone. Sly was one of the first, because before you got to 8-track recording, one musician couldn't play every song. There was like single track. Before 1966, 65, there was only single track recording or double track, meaning they could record a singer. When it was double track, meaning the singer had a track and the whole band had its own track. Before the 60s, it was single track recording. So that means it was the singer was off here in the booth on the side singing, but the band was over here in one room and they just had to play that shit. So even though a lot of those musicians could play every instrument, the recording capabilities did not allow them to. Sly Stone came up at a time that the recording capabilities went from double track to 4-track to 8-track to 16 to 32 track. And as you start getting in the 16 and 32 track recording, you can then lay down a drum part and then lay down a bass part and then lay these different parts down and put them all together. So Sly Stone was one of the first to ever do that. Sly Stone was also, when you listen to Sly and the Family Stone, one of the first to use a drum machine. They were one of the first to use a drum machine on this song right here. That's a drum machine. That's a drum machine. It's a family. That's a kind of a remake, but the original Family Affair. That was the one that they did later on, but that was the original. It wasn't the original recording, but that was a re-recording by Sly. But if you go and find the original, and that was one of the first songs to lay down a drum track. So you had that original drum track playing under here. Here's the original here's the original. That's a drum machine. It's real drums layered on top of a drum machine. And all of this is going to go into the talk that we're about to have today about hip-hop, because rest in peace to Sly Stone. But all of this is going to go into the conversation that we're going to later have about hip-hop. One second. Let me see. I have a guest coming on. I have a guest coming on that I had to go ahead and send a text to. But anyway, Sly Stone, when it comes to using that drum machine, they used that drum machine first, and then layered the drums on top of it. One of the first. He also played a huge role in other bands. Like he co-wrote. People don't even know that Sly Stone co-wrote and played on a lot of Funkadelic songs. He was like a de facto member of Parliament Funkadelic later on, when Sly and the Family Stone's run sort of phased out. When Parliament, after Sly and the Family Stone started to sort of phase out, Sly Stone went ahead and played with Funkadelic. I'm trying to look for one of the songs. Oh yeah, because that's why I'm in Apple Music. I gotta go to my library. My library is more extensive than Apple Music's library. I got songs that y'all can't find on Apple Music like this. Sly's on that. He plays on that song in the studio. Not just knee deep. Oh, that's Felipe Wynn singing lead, rest in peace, from the Spinners. You have what's her name from Earth and the Fire and the she rest in peace. You had Junie Morrison, man. You had so many, but Sly Stone. I wasn't gonna start the show off. Who can predict Sly Stone dying right before you go live? So I'm gonna get to the topic in a second, but there's like no way in Sam fuck hell I was going to be able to start this show getting that kind of news and not acknowledge Sly Stone. Sly Stone is one of the greatest to ever do it. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And we all got to give love and attention and adoration to those who did it and those who did it best. You dig what I'm saying? My screen look blurry. Let me hold on. Let me wipe this shit off. This shit looks stupid. How about now? That's better. That shit was looking stupid. Why don't y'all tell me? All right, cool. We here now. We here. All right, so we gonna get into it. The real versus the fake. Welcome, chat room. Thank y'all for joining. Rest in peace, Sly Stone. A true cornerstone, man. Like when you talk about a cornerstone in music, he is a cornerstone. Especially when we talk about funk, man. I know Midwest, y'all like to jump on it. I get it. The world don't like giving y'all a whole lot. And home, the Midwest truly is the cradle of funk. It really is. But the Midwest doesn't become the cradle of funk. Funk doesn't live and thrive without the wrinkle in time that Sly and the Family Stone put on it. They brought the psychedelic funk. When they brought the psychedelic funk, it was so funky. Sly Stone do y'all know that Sly Stone was the one, he was influencing Miles Davis? Miles Davis started to dress more like Sly Stone. And when Sly Stone when he took James Brown's funk and put that psychedelic Bay Area soul on it, it changed Jimi Hendrix's music. See, after Sly Stone, Jimi Hendrix, right before he died, was coming over into the funk because of Sly Stone. When Sly Stone dropped, Parliament Funkadelic was a doo-wop rock and roll band. The Ohio Players were a jazz band. Sly and the Family Stone is what got these bands that we now know as the greatest funk bands of all time to change their sound. Same with the Bar-Kays. The Bar-Kays were a backing doo-wop style rhythm and blues band. Sly and the Family Stone put that funk on them. Sly and the Family Stone was so important that it changed jazz. Miles Davis's Bitches Brew album, this wasn't Davis responding to other jazz acts. This was Davis responding to Sly and the Family Stone. John Coltrane that passed along. At this point, jazz had, for the most part, on the acoustic sound, maxed out as far as it could go. And Davis's Bitches Brew. That is because of Sly and the Family Stone. That's the monumental effect that he had and how he helped push the sound forward. Okay? So if you came here to hear about hip-hop, learn who hip-hop's daddy is. And you'll understand hip-hop a lot better when you understand who hip-hop's mommy, daddy, grandmama, granddaddy is. And you'll find out that as much as we love hip-hop, what hit the beauty in hip hop was bringing all of these elements that we've been doing together, and not just b-boying and graffiti. I'm talking about music elements, bringing them together, wrapping them up, and rapping over top. That's what rap is. It's a rapping of Black American music culture being tied together by a DJ and a rapper wrapping up their MCing gifts and repackaging and re-wrapping up what we've been doing. And that's the beauty in rap, and that's the beauty in hip hop. And that's how we're going to start today's show. Real hip hop versus industry plants.